Hello, it's me, the Avatar Fanatic, and today we will be discussing about Amon and Zaheer and who would win out of them. So before we get into the video, make sure to hit the like button and the sub button and sub to the channel if you want more Avatar content. It takes 2 seconds of your time and I'd really appreciate it if you guys like and sub to the channel. Now, it's on to the video. So, we're talking about Zaheer and Amon in this video, and we will be going over each character briefly to start the video. So, first is Amon. Amon, who is also known as Noatak, is most notably a waterbender and a bloodbender who was part of the Equalist group and the leader of it. Next, Zaheer. Zaheer was an airbender who got airbending after harmonic convergence. He is most known for being the leader of the Red Lotus and being an anarchist and supported the elimination of all power. These were by far the two best antagonists and the two strongest antagonists in Korra, excluding, Dark Avatar Unalaq, but I thought it would be cool to, go over their strengths and weaknesses and determine a winner between them. So, first is Amon. Amon was a master waterbender and the best bloodbender we have ever seen, and he has great agility and maneuverability. Many of the instances you can see on Korra, which is now on Netflix, by the way, and I suggest you watch it, is his waterbending. He used a move to lift himself out of the water, of which he would have drowned if he wasn't a waterbending master, and he created a water tornado pretty much, it was huge, and it was a cool visual, but it took him out of the water, and it prevented him from drowning, and that really showed his strength, because only waterbending masters can even do that move. So, he could bloodbend at any time, so he would be able to utilize that, against Zaheer pretty effectively, and just take control of his body, and just, capitulate him pretty much. But in battles versus Tenzin and Mako, he does display his really good agility, Amon does, and his elite movement. One thing I do think Amon is pretty weak in is his alertness. I mean, you can see this in a couple of times and instances where he and Tenzin were fighting, and it was most prominent when Mako went through his bloodbend control and just lightning bended him, and Amon was not alert, and he got set back by that. But the fact that he was actually alright after that lightning blast from point blank range shows how strong he is, for one. But for two, it does point at some of his holes in his alertness. Another instance is when his brother Tarlok exploded the boat and Amon was on alert, so Zaheer can take a big advantage of Amon there hypothetically. Next is Zaheer. Zaheer is very agile. I mean, just look at the battle versus Tenzin. I know he got messed up badly, but he showcased his skill greatly in that fight. He handles aerodynamics better than almost any airbender. I mean, he can levitate, for God's sake. He's really strong as an airbender, though. But he is, of course, not a massive, as he did get it pretty recently. And he did get beat by Tenzin, let's all admit. He is still a top airbender, and his speed is blistering. And I mean blistering. It would really be cool to see this chess match between Amon and Zaheer's movement and see who would win in that aspect. So I really have no clue who would win in that. He is also hyper alert and reacts to things at an instant. If Zaheer can maneuver enough to avoid Amon's bloodbending and strike him when he's not alert and when he's not looking, he has a really good chance of winning. So, now I'll be going over who I think would win between Zaheer and Amon, and I have 5 categories based on my criteria of who would win. We have bending, we have alertness, we have mobility, we have battle tactics, and we have Amon's bloodbending versus Zaheer's air suffocation thing. I don't know how you would, what terminology they use for that, but they both use that to subdue and to beat their opponents. So, the first is bending. I think Amon would win bending pretty handily, since Zaheer's not a master airbender in Korra, and Amon is a top-tier waterbender, and he's a master at that. Zaheer would edge alertness, because Amon has been caught out a couple times, and Zaheer really hasn't. Zaheer has always been good at tracking his opponents, and I think he would track Amon really well. Zaheer would win mobility, but it's really close on that one. I mean, Amon's mobility is beautiful. You just look at his footwork and the movement, and it's great. It's great footwork. But Zaheer's airbending puts him over an edge there, and it really would be entertaining, because both characters' reaction times are great. Just Zaheer's aerodynamics would just barely edge him over. So, that's 2-1 Zaheer. Amon's bloodbending beats Zaheer's air suffocation thing pretty easily. I mean, it would be cool to see a battle where they are like battling between wheels to see who would win that. Is just like a picture, just picture this scenario. It's like Amon is trying to bloodbend Zaheer into submission, and Zaheer is just trying to take all the air out of Amon's body, and like both trying to submit each other, and both of them just giving it everything. That would be really cool. But overall, I think Amon wins there, and the battle tactics are really close since they both plan out attacks well. But I would pretty much edge Amon because he carefully planned his every move and really was good with coordinating attacks. He got people to advocate for him while Zaheer had 3 friends, and Amon had more support. So in my criteria, Amon would beat Zaheer 3-2. And if we are being real, Amon would pretty much demolish Zaheer if he could use his bloodbending, and Zaheer wouldn't be able to move at all. Like, he'd just be immobilized. If Amon wasn't able to use bloodbending, though, I still think Amon would edge it solely due to him being more polished as a bender. And no talk having been mentored by Yakone, who's also one of the most dangerous bloodbenders and waterbenders around. But the battle without bloodbending would be really close, and it would be a lot more of a contest. So like and sub to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Remember, it takes 2 seconds of your time. Comment if you have any thoughts and if you disagree. And this is me, Dav Tar Fanatic out.